There is a man. You've seen him. He doesn't speak first. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't laugh at jokes that aren't funny. And the moment he walks into a room, something shifts. People stop mid-sentence. Women notice. Men straighten up. He hasn't said a single word. He hasn't flexed. He hasn't performed. And yet, everyone in that room respects him. You've felt it. That pull. That presence. And deep down, you've asked yourself the question you're too afraid to say out loud. Why isn't that me? I'm going to show you exactly why. Not with motivation. Not with affirmations. Not with the recycled advice everyone keeps selling you. I'm going to show you the 7 things, 7 specific, studied, deliberate behaviors that make a man untouchable. These aren't personality traits you're born with. They're not gifts. They're not luck. Niccolò Machiavelli, the most feared political mind in human history, wrote about this 500 years ago. He said, "Men judge by appearances." And then he spent his entire life teaching princes how to engineer those appearances. What you're about to watch is that engineering. Stay until the 7th one, because the 7th one is where everything changes. Trait 1, controlled silence. The man who controls his words controls the room. Most men cannot shut up. They talk to fill silence. They explain when no one asked. They justify when no one questioned them. Every time something happens, they react immediately, without thinking. Someone disrespects them, they argue back. Someone doubts them, they defend themselves. Someone ignores them, they talk louder. This is not strength. This is desperation wearing a mask. Machiavelli understood something that most men never will. Words are ammunition. Every unnecessary word you speak is a bullet you gave to your enemy. Every time you explain yourself when no one asked, you are confessing that you care what they think. Every time you fill silence with noise, you are announcing your insecurity to everyone in the room. The men who command respect, they understand the power of restraint. They speak when it matters. They're silent when it's strategic. And their silence says more than most men's speeches. Think about the men you respect most. The ones who make you slightly uncomfortable. The ones who seem unreadable. They're not quiet because they're shy. They're quiet because they've mastered themselves. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is control. When you stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your words, you become someone they have to figure out, and people respect what they cannot figure out. The weak man speaks to seek approval. The powerful man speaks to create impact. There is a difference, and that difference is the first thing everyone notices. Do not speak unless your words are more powerful than your silence. Trait 2, unshakable composure. He who cannot govern himself cannot govern anything. You are leaking. Every time someone irritates you, and you show it, you are leaking. Every time an unexpected problem arrives, and you panic, you are leaking. Every time someone challenges you, and your face changes, you are leaking power. Directly, visibly, publicly. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must have the nature of both the lion and the fox." The lion doesn't flinch when smaller animals approach. He doesn't explain his strength. He doesn't react to provocation. His composure is the warning. Most men have been taught that emotion is honesty, that showing how you feel is authentic. And in the right place, with the right people, that can be true. But in the arena? In the world where respect is the currency? Your emotions are a vulnerability map. They show people exactly where to push, exactly how to destabilize you, exactly how to make you lose. The man who remains calm when everything around him is burning is the man everyone watches. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he has decided that his feelings belong to him, not to the room, not to the situation, not to the person trying to provoke him. Composure is not coldness. Composure is sovereignty. When you refuse to be disturbed, you become disturbing. People will push you. They will test you. They will say things designed to crack you. And when you don't crack, when you look at them with absolute stillness, the power in the room transfers. Instantly, completely, permanently. Master your composure, and you master every room you walk into. Trait 3, strategic independence. The man who needs nothing from you controls everything. You are seeking validation. I know you don't want to admit it. But look at your behavior. You post something, and you check back. Someone doesn't respond to you, and it bothers you more than it should. You change your opinion because someone disagreed. You shrink yourself so others are comfortable around you. This is the trap, and most men live their entire lives inside it. Machiavelli identified this as the single greatest political weakness: dependence. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." What he meant was not cruelty. What he meant was, never allow your power to rest in someone else's hands. The moment you need someone's approval, they own you. Not legally, not physically, but psychologically, completely. Strategic independence is not isolation. It is not arrogance. It is not pushing people away. It is the internal architecture of a man who knows exactly who he is, with or without anyone confirming it. He doesn't need you to believe in him, to believe in himself. He doesn't need your validation to take action. He doesn't need your approval to make decisions. This is what makes men magnetic. Ironically, the man who needs nothing from you is the man everyone wants to give something to. Respect, loyalty, opportunity, attention. Because scarcity creates value, and a man who is complete within himself is the rarest thing in the modern world. You were trained from childhood to seek approval, from parents, from teachers, from peers. That training served you then. It is destroying you now. The boy needed approval to survive. The man you are becoming does not. Stop outsourcing your worth. Stop waiting for someone to confirm what you already know. Your power cannot live inside someone else's opinion of you, because they will change their mind. And then what? You will collapse? No. Build yourself on a foundation that cannot be moved by anyone else's words. That is strategic independence. That is the third quality of an untouchable man. Trait 5, calculated generosity. Give in a way that binds, not in a way that bleeds you. There is a kind of man who gives everything. He helps everyone. He goes out of his way. He says yes when he should say no. He gives his time, his energy, his resources, and he is taken for granted every single time. Because he gives without strategy, he gives without boundaries, he gives because he's afraid that if he doesn't, people will leave. This is not generosity, this is a transaction disguised as kindness, and people can feel the difference. Machiavelli wrote, "Generosity exercised in a way that does not bring you the reputation for it injures you." What he understood, Besser, was that the way you give determines whether it creates respect or resentment. Calculated generosity is not selfishness, it is wisdom. It means giving from strength, not from fear, from abundance, not from desperation, with intention, not with anxiety. The powerful man gives selectively. He chooses who receives his loyalty, his time, his presence, his energy, and because it is rare, it is valued. Think about the sun. It gives light to the entire world. But it burns with boundaries. Nothing comes close without consequences. That is how you give, warmly, powerfully, with edges.
When you say no with conviction, your yes becomes sacred. The man who agrees with everyone means nothing to anyone. The man who gives only when he chooses to give. His gifts carry weight. His presence carries value. His loyalty becomes the most desired thing in the room. Stop bleeding yourself dry for people who don't deserve it. Stop saying yes when every fiber of your body is screaming no. Give powerfully, give strategically, give from a place so full that nothing you give can diminish you. That is the fifth quality, and it will change how every person in your life treats you. Trait 6. Fearless accountability. The man who blames nothing controls everything. Something went wrong. What's your first instinct? Be honest. For most men, the first instinct is to look outward, the economy, the timing, the other person, bad luck, their upbringing, the system. There is always something to blame. Always, if you look hard enough. And that is exactly why most men stay exactly where they are. Blame is comfortable. Blame is painless. Blame removes responsibility, but it also removes power, because you cannot fix what you refuse to own. Machiavelli was uncompromising about this. The prince who blamed others for his failures had already lost the game, because blame is surrender. It is the declaration, I have no control over my life. And men who believe they have no control live as prisoners in a cage they built themselves. Fearless accountability is not self-punishment. It is not shame. It is not beating yourself down. It is the radical decision to stand at the center of your own life and say, I am responsible for my results, for my relationships, for my character, for where I am right now, and I am the only one with the power to change it. The moment you claim total ownership of your life, the moment you stop waiting for someone to blame or save you, something extraordinary happens. You become dangerous, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to failure, dangerous to the version of you that was comfortable being small. And people watch that transformation. They feel it, they respect it, because accountability is the rarest form of courage. Most men will blame the world until they die. The uncommon man looks in the mirror and goes to work. When you master accountability, you become the man people bring their problems to, not because you have all the answers, but because they know you won't fold, you won't excuse, you won't run, you will own it and fix it. That is power, that is respect, that is the sixth quality of an untouchable man. Trait 7. Quiet dominance. The loudest man in the room is the weakest man in the room. We have arrived at the seventh, and I want you to pay close attention, because this one is not a behavior, it is not a habit, it is not a technique, it is a state. Quiet dominance is what happens when silence is mastered, when composure is unbreakable, when independence is total, when discipline is absolute, when generosity is intentional, when accountability is fearless. All six merged into one. The man who carries quiet dominance doesn't announce himself. He doesn't need to. He walks into a room, and the room rearranges itself around him. Not because of his money, not because of his title, not because of his looks, because of his energy, the energy of a man who has conquered himself, fully, completely, silently. Machiavelli described this as the ultimate political asset. Let a prince inspire fear in such a way that if he does not win love, he avoids hatred. The man of quiet dominance is not trying to be liked. He is not performing for approval. He is not adjusting his behavior based on the room. He simply is. His presence does the work. His stillness creates the gravity. His silence speaks the loudest. In meetings, he is the one people wait to hear from. In conversations, he is the one who sets the pace. In conflict, he is the one who controls the temperature. And the most powerful thing about quiet dominance, it cannot be faked. You cannot perform it. You cannot fake your way into it. You cannot dress it. You cannot rehearse it. It is earned. In private, in pain, in the hours no one sees. It is the product of a man who chose himself over and over when no one was watching. And now, the world watches, whether it wants to or not. Identity transformation. You are not the same man. Let me tell you what is happening to you right now. You have been watching this video, and something inside you is shifting. I can't see it, you can barely feel it, but it's happening. The part of you that used to seek approval just heard that it's a weakness. The part of you that used to react to everything just heard that composure is power. The part of you that used to blame the world just heard that ownership is liberation. You are not the same man who pressed play. Something has cracked open. not in a weak way, in the way that ground cracks before something new grows through it. I want you to understand something. Respect is not given, not by Machiavelli's world, not by this one. Respect is extracted. From every moment you chose silence over reaction. From every morning you chose discipline over comfort. From every situation you owned instead of escaped. These 7 qualities are not about impressing anyone. They are about becoming someone who no longer needs to. The untouchable man is not cold, he is not cruel, he is not emotionless. He is sovereign. Sovereign over his words, sovereign over his emotions, sovereign over his actions, sovereign over his energy, a kingdom of one. And from that kingdom, he gives, leads, loves, and builds on his own terms, at his own pace, in his own direction. No one controls the king in his own castle. Build yours. Power climax. The declaration. You have been waiting for permission to be taken seriously, to be respected, to be felt when you walk into a room. Stop waiting. Silence is your weapon. Composure is your armor. Independence is your foundation. Discipline is your engine. Generosity is your strategy. Accountability is your power. Quiet dominance is your identity. Machiavelli did not write for men who wanted to be liked. He wrote for men who wanted to be sovereign. And that is what you are becoming. Not because someone gave it to you, not because the world finally decided you deserved it, but because you decided, no more performing, no more explaining, no more shrinking, no more waiting. From this moment forward, you move differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently, and the world will notice, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it in the silence, in the discipline, in the daily decision to become exactly who you were always capable of being. Activate before you leave. I want you to do one thing. Scroll down to the comments, type one word, sovereign. That's it. Not for me. As a declaration to yourself, a signal that the man who pressed play on this video is not the same man who is watching the credits. And if this video cracked something open in you, if even one of these 7 things hit you in a place you've been ignoring, like it. Share it with one man who needs it. Subscribe, because where we're going next is deeper. The next video is already waiting, and it will not be comfortable. Now, stand up, walk out, let them feel you.